Jonathan, I appreciated your comments at the Blue Bike meeting.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how much we could talk about things before the meeting since I wasn't sure what I'm not too versed in the whole meeting law.
Oh, I mean, you're just not allowed to have a conversation in a quorum.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
like, if we were 4 people, we couldn't like all hang out together and talk about bicycle things.
okay, yeah, okay.
Oh, am I allowed to ask him, am I allowed to say I appreciate his comments?
Yeah, because we're just 3 of us here and.
Okay. So, yeah, thank you for speaking up.
Yeah, yeah, like, I mean, I don't use Blue Bikes, so I was just trying to make my best guess and sort of say something.
Yeah, but it all made, what you said made sense, and I
Yeah.
don't use Blue Bikes either.
It was good
Because
to
I-
have positive comments there,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I asked people to come because I saw the room and I thought, I don't know a lot of these people.
Yeah,
It was good, you
Yeah,
asked me
there's
to
like
come,
some
because there
that-
was plenty of NIMBYism.
yeah, I was trying to watch what they were saying.
It's whatever, many years ago, we lived in Milton and there was this whole like objection to a library. We were like,
Oh,
"How
my
people
God.
We're starting recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the March 4th Bicycle Advisory Committee meeting. We're gonna start with introductions and member updates. Not to diss the people online, but just for ease, we're gonna start with people in the room and then go to people online. Why don't you start?
Sure, Jan Freeheim.
Lauren Stanley?
Scott McCullough, John Zoll,
Mitch Heineman?
Bob Miller.
And I'm Emily Jacobson. I'm the chair of the committee. And if people online would like to unmute and introduce themselves.
Brenda Hefter.
Hello?
Bettina Neuefind.
Hello.
Hello.
Carrie Keaveney.
Hi.
Hello.
John Bowman.
Todd
Todd
Power.
McFadden. Hi,
Hi, nice to see you, Todd.
thanks.
Toby Zillman.
So does anybody have any member updates?
Oh, good.
Oh,
Did we miss somebody with an introduction?
Oh, I was just,
Always.
you can see my name. Hi, everyone. It's Greg Wheeler.
Oh,
Good to see you.
No, we want to hear your name too.
Yeah.
Emily, do you want me to say hi? I'm here too, Brian Kane. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, do you have anything that you'd like to say at the beginning of the meeting, since I know you have very long meetings generally?
Well, I'm walking my dog at the moment, so I'm not on a bike. But no, just again, thank you all for volunteering. I am continually amazed at how much this town runs on volunteers. I do want to come and talk with you folks sometime in April. So maybe you could let me know when that meeting is and put me on the agenda. And I'd like to talk about the prioritization. I know you texted me today, Emily. I haven't come back to you yet. And I want to talk about Chestnut Hill Ave, and I want to talk about a bunch of stuff. So I guess just a request to put me on the agenda in April for just a catch up. And I'm just going to listen. If that's okay with you. So thank you.
Okay, sure, that would be a pleasure to do so. Are there any member updates?
I have a member update. So while Brian's on, I don't know if he's gonna be on the whole time, but Safe Routes to School, a big topic was that the bike racks in most schools or many schools or some schools are not cleared, and I actually was at the high school and could not find well, I eventually found a place to park my bike, but that was because it was, at night and there were no kids around, and I found a pole that was not completely inaccessible, but the bike racks were all completely snowed in. And I know that it came up that other schools are facing this issue as well, and kids are not driving cars to school, so bike racks are kind of an important piece. I know that the amount of snow, it's been really challenging. I know that Public Works are working really hard, so I'm not blaming anybody, but just putting that out there that it'd be really great if we could get bike racks cleared. Actually, I was just in Coolidge Corner and had to park my bike on top of a huge snowbank, next to a pole that said that you're not allowed to park your bike on a handicap pole, which I always respect, but I was like, yeah, it'd be good if the bike racks were available. And then Climate Action Brookline, I have a quick report that they're planning activities for Earth Week and Earth Day. So Earth Week is April 19th, April 25th. They're planning to do a micro mobility thing, and they're also very much looking for other groups that might wanna do an event or are doing an event that they could help to promote, and they're planning to reach out to all sorts of groups, and I thought it would be good to at least let this group know.
When is the event?
Well, it's a week. It starts Sunday, it starts Sunday, April 19th to Saturday, April 25th, and Earth Day. I forgot, I didn't,
22nd
the 22nd, okay, it's in that week, so the 22nd.
marathon week.
And it is marathon week, it's also school vacation week, and CAB decided they were gonna go forward with doing it during the week, that week. Even though there were issues, because I guess Mothers Out Front is decided to honor Earth Week that week, so. So that's my update.
Great.
I have an update.
Yeah.
I've been, back to driving to work, and as I passed by our famed spot of the Essex and Dummer
Mhm.
intersection, I was pleasantly surprised to see that the sign for announcing to bicycles, like, and that cars should yield, that used to be on the opposite side of the street, is actually on the near side of the street now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I went the day after the meeting, it was.
Yeah,
amazing.
and I was
Just
like,
got-
hey, what? So, maybe one less thing to write about in our memo that I know we're gonna be talking about later today, but I
Sure.
just wanted to share that I did a double take. I confirm, I've seen this 3 times this week.
it wasn't a, hallucination, yeah.
Yeah.
Small victories.
At least you noticed the sign. Anybody else?
I have a non-member update. This Bike to Work Day is Thursday, May 7th. You probably know Emily. The Brookline leaders are David Proof, Hassan, myself, and Sam Downs.
May 7th, you said?
Thursday, yep. That's what it says here.
Yeah, they're leaving from the village from underneath the clock. How can you sign up for that, Mitch, if you wanna do Bike to Work Week?
No, it's not out yet. The leaders signed up, but I don't know that it's. Well, you just go to Boston Bikes.
Okay.
So if I remember, this is the event where like there's hundreds of bikes at City Hall Plaza, right?
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, it's fun. And last year, I'm pretty sure we got Tommy to give a little cheering speech at
Kick off.
Village Corner.
You can give us one. I will give another update. I attended the transportation board meeting last week. And 2 items of interest were the MBTA C branch upgrades, where previously there had been some discussion that the upgrades and possibly the generators that were planned during the upgrades could impede upon the possibility of the bridle path, and the MBTA appears to now be actively working to make sure that that the bridle path is still a possibility, so that's good. And the transportation board used some extremely complicated language to approve their portion of the Sea Line branch updates. And They also discussed, Chestnut Hill Avenue briefly. It seems like they are not ready to come to any sort of decision in terms of design at the moment. They're going to do more public consultation on it, and the staff will come back to the board with some sort of proposition. It sounded like by the end of by the fall. And that is it. Officer Kivney, would you mind giving your update? I'm just gonna get
Yes. Can you
the
hear me?
the police report.
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't quite shared it yet.
Was Anthony on when you did attendance?
No, but I saw him come there. Hi, Anthony. And I will try and share the screen with everyone. Here's the bike crash report. I'm pleased to see that there are fewer, at least,
Yes.
but unfortunately, it looks like these are more serious crashes.
Yeah, so I actually, before we jump into the February report, I just wanted to follow up. There were a few questions at the last meeting. And so I just want to follow up on some of that stuff. So there was a question regarding the January reports, whether any of the accidents involved e-bikes. And I went back and double checked with our crime analysis person, and she said that no e-bikes were involved with any of the crashes in January. Basically, she go with all of the data that comes into us. She goes through the narratives of the report, the calls that come in, and that's how she determines whether or not, pedestrians were involved, e-bikes, motor vehicles, etc. I think that one of the concerns regarding e-bikes, I think someone mentioned the concern with delivery drivers, and that seems to be with food, specifically food delivery drivers, and that seems to be a concern. But specifically, the way that the Mass General laws define an e-bike is that it has to have pedals, operable pedals. And a lot of times what we're seeing is the food delivery drivers are not actually using e-bikes. A lot of them are considered moped scooters or motorcycles, which certainly gets reported differently than e-bikes themselves. The next thing I wanted to follow up with was the UPS bike, the bike lane in front of the UPS location in Village Corner. So I actually reached out to that location itself to follow up regarding issues with the delivery drivers parking in the bike lane. And the woman that I spoke to let me know that so UPS does have a designated spot on the side of the building in the alleyway there that's specifically for loading and unloading for the delivery drivers. She did say that due to snow back at around that point in time, there was a delay getting it cleared out, and that drivers at that point in time were not able to pull in. Once we started talking, she updated me that at some point that was rectified. She also let me know that
Oh, we lost your audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
Fire with your lights.
Sorry, can you
Okay.
hear me now?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I think it's better without the earbuds in. Um, so, um, the store is a franchise, so they don't have direct control over the delivery drivers themselves. But she did say that she was gonna try to remind the drivers that were in and out kind of around that period of time to utilize the spot itself. And she was also going to reach out to the UPS hub in Watertown to relay that to their drivers as well. So I don't know if anyone's had any noticed anything recently, but that's something that's at least hopefully now on the radar, and they'll be a little bit more cognizant of the fact that there's been an uptick in issues there.
For people not in the room, Jan has a picture of the UPS store with 2 trucks parked in front of it from this week, so.
Okay.
Saturday at around 2:30 PM. Two trucks,
Yeah.
folks.
You know what? Do you have my email by any chance?
I can send your email to Jan.
If you want to forward me the photo, so the woman that I spoke to was Rebecca. She was very responsive when I was emailing back and forth with her. We were hoping that we would be able with the conversations that she was able to have with the drivers, and her immediate contact at the hub in Watertown, that would fix the issue. But she basically said there is a possibility to escalate it further if need be. So that may be something that we could look into.
I really appreciate you reaching out. That's really wonderful.
Yeah, Carrie, really, thank you so
Thank you.
much. And has nothing to do with it's not the snow. This has been going on for a long, long time, and one time I was biking through and the backup, the left turn lane was all jammed up and the truck was there and the cars were backed up and blocking Beacon Street. And I told the driver, hey, you're backing up cars that are blocking Beacon Street. He goes, well, I have to pick up the packages.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'll do, I know the last time I was asked about, are there hot spots and kind of places for our directed patrol that we plan on focusing on, and I think I'll put that on our list in terms of enforcement, just as a hot spot in terms of an issue that keeps coming up repeatedly. So I'll make note of that.
Yeah, thanks. It affects the cars and the bikes, not just the bikes. Yep.
I think that was all I had for updates from last time. So then we can get into this past month, so February. So yeah, in February there were 2 accidents involving bicyclists in the town, which is, in terms of from the same period last year, a slight increase. There was only 1 in February of last year, but it is significantly less than this past January. And then of the 7 incidents involving bikes in 2026, 6 of them were involving a motor vehicle, and 1 of them was involving a pedestrian. And year to date, we have had a total of 231 traffic crashes reported to us, and about 3% of those are involving bicyclists. I think that's all. Go ahead.
Do you know what actually happened at Washington Street here?
Yeah, so I did quickly review the reports, and I wish I could pull them up in front of me, but I can't at this point. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was a vehicle that was turning and struck the bicyclist was turning and struck I think a pedestrian walked out without realizing that the bicyclist was coming, if I'm not mistaken.
I see.
In that situation, actually, both the pedestrian and cyclist were transported to the hospital with injury. not significant injuries, but they were both transported with injuries.
Yeah.
I'll mention on Longwood that a friend of a friend felt that her bike accident was caused by herself as she was biking. She fell off and was really bruised, and her bike was completely totaled by a car running over it. She refused to report it, but I'll mention it.
Oh, like this month that happened?
Oh, that just happened 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the hard part on our end is that, you know, there are a lot of situations that just don't get reported to us. So it's hard to have that, you know, there's certainly unreported data.
So if there aren't any pressing questions, I'd like to move on. We have sort of a packed schedule, and if there's, I'd like to keep as much time possible for the discussion about Harvard Street. So we're gonna try and move through. We're going to try and move through the schedule as quickly as possible. I put on the agenda discussion of chair responsibilities and chair election, and I'd like to move that item to next month, just because we've got a lot of things to discuss. Basically, the gist of the item will be that there's kind of a list of chair responsibilities and that we came up with at some point. And it's a long list. I am unable to fulfill all the responsibilities of the chair. And so I would like to know first if there are other people that would like to nominate someone else to become chair or nominate themselves. Just like giving people, you know, other people the chance to try that out. Or if there are people that would like to take on some of the responsibilities to so that we can all be a better team. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna send out the list of responsibilities and everybody can take a look at it and, you know, we can talk about it next time. Okay, let's move on to the discussion about Essex and Dummer. Ridla and Toby and Bob authored a memo. I guess you guys all should have received a copy of it. I received a copy, and Bettina, who is the person who has been sort of championing this issue in her neighborhood, sent us some more recent photos of the area. And I also added an AI generated photo that I will run by you guys. Is there anybody who has substantive comments on the memo in terms of whether or not there's like things that they feel need to be changed?
I think our comment to move the sign ought to be removed, but given that.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have, I should put this up on the screen. I just need to share another. Bettina, I will get to you very quickly. Need to share.
It also talked about, in that same bullet point, it said signage on the near side of intersection. It also said larger, clearer signage, so we should consider whether the larger, clearer is still needed.
Okay, so I made, first of all, this is the photo that, is everybody online seeing the document?
Yep.
Yeah. This is the photo that Bettina sent, which was, she sent a number of photos, but this was the one that showed kind of all directions of the intersection best in my view. And so I would propose that we replace that with this photo with that photo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I removed the part about the far side. Because I read it and I knew that was
Redundant.
Yeah. This is, I'm gonna come back to this. Improve pavement markings.
Oh, and they added bollards too, huh?
No, this is me. This is,
Oh.
The AI generated that.
If only we lived in an AI world.
I don't quite understand. I don't quite understand the proposition here. Like, this is kind of a lot of things. This could include painting the southbound bicycle path to distinguish it from the rest of the sidewalk. Does this mean here like a green carpet on
Yeah.
the raised bicycle path?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Green?
I will say this, I think part of it near Comm Ave is already kind of painted green, and I'm not sure how well that still works from a car perspective. If you picture when you're in a car sitting in the left seat and you're looking, you're not going to see it as you're approaching because it's so close to the car. So I
Right.
think it'll be helpful. I'm not sure. I think it's helpful to add on to the list of things we have. I'm not sure if it makes sense to have that as the first thing. I would probably put it lower if we're trying to prioritize what we think is best on that list. And I would put down that that's a minimal thing, I think, to help more with pedestrians. I'm not sure it's going to make a difference for cars. If they see a green lane, they should be able to see the green lane that's up ahead. And I'm not sure that impacts it as much as these other things.
I agree that visually this is more likely to, although when you're approaching this, you're going to see it.
And also, by the time you get to the intersection, it's too late. I mean, it's good to know as you're approaching the intersection that, oh, there's a bike lane on my right.
So maybe we should be more specific about this. Could paint southbound bicycle path approaching.
I do think it helps to disambiguate the bike path from the sidewalk that's to the right, because there is a curb there. And I think the drivers, may not be expecting there to be a bike path that's like not at the same level as the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It
Build
looks
the
like a
continuity.
sidewalk.
It does. Mhm.
It would show continuity with the green paint on the road across the street, which I think drivers do see.
Is someone very attached to adding sharrows in the roadway? I mean, I don't see the utility. Can someone explain this?
No.
I will tell you that bikes sometimes, I don't think, I'm personally not arguing for the sharrows, but I guess the utility is that sometimes bikers will get into the traffic lane because they feel safer there, particularly if they're planning to go straight and not turn in order to avoid the turning vehicles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or if you meant shadows right across the crossing itself? Well, I guess that's.
I don't think so. I mean, I would say that like bicyclists are allowed to be in the lane anytime they want. Sharrows are more of a signal to drivers, so I'm inclined not to ask for this. I don't want to ask for things that I don't think are going to improve safety.
Also, I think it's unusual to see sharrows and a bike lane. When there's a bike lane, then usually they don't put the sharrows.
Yeah, it could be. I
So
don't,
seeing sharrows to me as a driver, I might think, oh, there isn't a bike lane here.
I
Which
also-
is our problem to begin with.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I would also say there are so many things to look at already at that intersection, that I would not want to add anything else, that it's like not mission critical.
That's a good point. I also think placing a warning for turning vehicles is moot since there is one. So can I erase this?
Yep.
Can it be
Um,
flashing?
Not a comment?
Yeah, I did.
Can the yield sign flash?
Yeah, I mean, there are places where there are signs that flash for like stop or pedestrians or anything like that. Can there be the possibility, at least for night, because it is rather dark when you cross that street anyhow, whatever time of year? Is there a possibility of putting lighting?
Emily had suggested that maybe having a sensor for the bike lane that would trip a light there, the way you do sometimes for like the crosswalks across Beacon, where like they can be activated.
Yeah, I can't take responsibility for that suggestion, but
Okay.
Maybe it's a
I
flashing
thought that was a
light.
nice idea. Anyway, whoever suggested
John
it.
had a comment as well.
Well,
so-
Jonathan has a comment.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, obviously, ideally we want everyone on the bike lane there, but as we saw with the storm more recently, the protected bike lanes over there were inaccessible on Comm Ave and around that corner, that forcing bikes to be in the road
Mhm.
Now, I don't know if the Sharrows would really help with it, but definitely going down that route where I definitely prefer being in the protected lane. I was out of it through that whole section.
Well, let's keep in mind that we can ask for a limited number of things, and the more things that we ask for, the less we're like, they're gonna, if they even pick any of these things, they're going to pick one of them. We should ask for the thing that we think is going to be the most effective, not
So I guess,
20 things.
what's the number? Is it 3? Is it 5? 3 to 5? I mean, I always find 3 is a good number.
But how many things to ask?
Yeah, how many things to ask for?
I don't think we can take for granted that any of these things will be actually considered,
Right.
but the fewer things that we can ask for that we think are really effective, the better.
Is this going to the transportation board? Who's the audience?
For the transportation board and the transportation division.
So do we want to prioritize the top 3
Sure.
out of the list?
Could I just weigh in? I would just say, I mean, I ride through here all the time, and it almost makes me wish there were no bike right of way because it is so, it is so ineffective and so dangerous, and that the bikers almost, as a rule, have to either self-censor and simply like defer their yield, or they just have to risk the collision. Like you pretty much have to throw yourself in front of a car if there is a car in that intersection when you are approaching it. And so to my mind, like if I had to make a single ask, like I would ask for a stop sign there, maybe like have it be an always stop, and I've asked other members of my household who also ride there. They also commute to Cambridge, and they have also said, the only thing that seems useful there is a stop sign, because there is simply no way for people to process the amount of visual information that there is on offer there. There are so many signs to look at, and adding additional signage is not going to be helpful because nobody is stopping to read the signs. Everybody is in motion the entire time. So like unless you already are very intimately familiar with the intersection and are committed to honoring the bike right of way, like you're not going to divine that information from additional signage, like unless
We
you
already
actually stop.
do say that that's the number one goal.
Right. So I'm just saying, like I think, I guess to my mind, it dilutes the ask. Like if you're saying like, well, this or this or this or this, and then, there's 15 things you could try. And, if most of them are easier to do than to put in a stop sign for whatever bureaucratic reason, I feel like you're almost, kind of throwing away the reality, which is that, none of the other things are going to be very effective, and the stop sign would be.
So I'm going to, Bettina had emailed about this a little bit, so I'm just going to repeat for your benefit what I said in email to Bettina. I know you asked the transportation division before for a stop sign, and they said it wasn't permitted. I also personally have reservations about asking for a stop sign, because I feel that it becomes a situation where who has to stop and who has the right of way is ambiguous. Whereas in this case, where how the sign is placed and what the sign says now is unambiguous. And even though it's not effective, the positive aspect of it is that were a crash to happen, it would be very clear who would be at fault in the crash. And so I would be concerned that with a stop sign, that one could argue that the right of way had become ambiguous, and therefore that an insurance company may not have to pay out to a hurt cyclist. And so this is my personal reservation about recommending that. I also don't think it's going to be an effective recommendation, because the transportation division has already told us that they won't do it. But I am one person on this board. So,
You know what? I'm not on the board, but I have to be, and I agree with you. There we go.
I would tend to agree, and I would tend to prioritize those asks that we think are new and as provocative of an ask that we think will be the safest and most effective way. So if maybe in absent a stop sign, is it a flashing yield sign, to Anthony's point, like not just a yield sign, but a flashing one. Like maybe that's the top priority as.
Greg has had his hand up for quite a long time. Would you like to say something?
Just one substantive point in the conversation about stop signs. In that bullet that you have there, Emily, I just wanted to know, I think coming northbound on Essex, there is also a stop sign. So that bullet says that there's only one stop sign, but there are two of the directions already have a stop sign. So I know we're kind of going back and forth on if we want to add a third. I just wanted to note that there are currently two stop signs, not just one.
There's a stop sign for this truck
Yeah.
and for
And there's a
this
stop sign
one
for-
here.
Correct. Yep.
That's not the ambiguousness that I see. The ambiguousness that I see is that when a car arrives at a stop, if a bike arrives here at the same time, does the bike have a stop? Like normally bikes need to respect all traffic signals, right? And so normally the order of operations in the intersection would be that the person to the right goes and yields. So like in that case, yes, I think it would. Do you guys understand where I'm coming
Person
from?
to the right yields and then the person who reached the stop sign first
First.
to go first.
Yeah, so I don't know. This is my hesitation about recommending it. I don't think our recommendation is gonna go anywhere, even if we do recommend it though, given previous experience recommending this. So Myrtle was saying, do we have people who feel that flashing sign would be high on the list? Or are there other treatments that would be high on their list?
I like the flashing yield.
I think you can take off the speed humps, because I think that's an absolute no,
Why?
because I think that you'll get an immediate no. And in your argument of don't ask for something you're not gonna get,
Why do you
don't waste
think it's
time for something that you're not gonna get, because there's just so much opposition in terms of how that affects other vehicles and where they are and the construction. In general, there's been almost constant refusal to do those anywhere else,
by residents?
by residents and by the town, by the. transportation.
They're putting them all
Yeah,
up in
they're
that
putting
neighborhood
all
over
the
there.
Right, but
They're
like
putting,
add an intersection there,
No, we're gonna put it before the intersection.
the intersection is already a raised intersection.
right,
But we're gonna put it
Slow it down a bit
But-
earlier.
earlier.
So there is
But
already
coming
a
from
speed bump
Boston?
a little bit.
Yeah.
earlier,
Right.
Right?
Coming from Boston.
coming from Boston to have another one where it splits. I mean, let's
see if I can.
Residents have been advocating for speed bumps in the Hayes School neighborhood and the high school neighborhood. They've been like throwing them in all over the place.
Okay, so I'm going to erase better signage with improved location placement.
Yes.
I guess, just from my perspective, personal opinion again, flashing yield, and I like the bollards AI generated image. I think though, like, if we have to pick two, I think those are the things like it's gonna prevent a car from veering or taking a really, yes, you have to take a super tight turn there because sometimes cars are wonky, but if those bollards are there, it's gonna prevent people from veering super close into the bike lane, and then the flashing yield to me would be,
Oh, I have another question.
Yeah, I agree. I think just like having the bollards like basically makes or any sort of thing on the side instinctively makes someone slow down and have to make a more careful turn.
yeah.
And actually, if you think of the way they do bollards downtown Boston, they'll put them like 2 feet apart. And if you just, instead of having them spaced like that, in the first couple aren't gonna matter. What matters is right at the intersection. If you're gonna drive into the bollard, you're not just taking out one bollard, you're taking out 5 and
Well, that's a good
messing up your
point.
front end.
People are certainly not afraid of doing that.
Yeah, but it
Okay, so I'm
takes a lot more.
gonna move this one.
Yes, trucks especially.
I'm gonna put this one in. Improve pavement markings, green carpet. Can this go? Is this a high priority thing to ask for?
Can I guess I would just say,
Bettina, please go ahead.
sorry, I can't see whether, sorry,
Yeah.
is it my turn or no?
It's very hard. It's hard to manage writing a memo and people in the room and people's hands up at the same time. So, you know, as long as everybody just stays respectful with their comments, please just, you know, feel free to jump in. I don't want to manage it too much.
Okay, I guess my thought would be, like, if I'm approaching there, anything that would slow a car down from farther away, like, I think would be what I would prioritize, because it would improve the likelihood that they would accurately perceive the signage, you know, and whatever other visual cues there are. So, I mean, having, like, it's a raised intersection, but it doesn't actually slow anybody down until they are on the intersection. And at that point, it's pretty much too late. So I do think, to the extent that I would not have opposed the ask for a speed bump earlier in the block. I think, you know, like, short of a stop sign, having something to physically actually slow down the traffic, I think would be kind of the next best thing. And the bollards, I feel like bollards are nice when people are intending to respect them and go slowly, but when someone is going fast, I mean, like, I regularly see people just drive over bollards and not even slow down. Like, it doesn't.
I think in this case, the bollards are more of a visual warning, because people don't generally drive up onto the curb.
It's a very low curve.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this before. I think this is where, you know, I agree that I don't think we need as many bollards leading up, but I think it should be like one of those really sturdy, like metal or cement ones at that corner. Something that if a car's trying to do a turn, it's not just running over something and they keep going and they repeatedly do it. I'd rather they hit that than, you know, continuing the habit of like cutting into the lane. And it doesn't impact snow removal, I don't think, because it's off the street. So it's not something that needs to be taken down.
It has to be something that's gonna mess up somebody's car tires.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That would damage the body.
That's what I'm going for, okay, let's just call a spade here.
Okay, so I
Spikes.
have a precedent for one of those kinds of bollards that I can show people.
Sign moved around.
While you're pulling that up, I don't think this is viable, but does it make sense
That's what
to?
we were saying. It was on the far side and now it's on your side.
No, I'm saying before it was on the near side.
No, it wasn't.
Because you look at the Google Maps, that's from 20 September.
It's on the near side.
Google Maps also had a picture of it on the far side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
so
sent in
then-
a video. It's been moved.
Yeah.
And the video's from last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to wrap this up, so everybody please quietly consider what their most important things are, and we're gonna trim it to 3. And I'm just gonna ask for a show of hands, because, so those are, I'm gonna say to you that I will use my really paltry subscription to Nano Banana to give some steel bollards there. Because I've used up my subscription today. So, with a show of hands, a
Sorry.
flashing yield sign.
Clarified question,
Yeah.
are you asking members or members and guests and friends?
I'm just gonna ask members, because there
Not
are a lot of
friends,
people,
okay.
and Bettina, I think I'm clear about what she feels would be most effective. So I'm just going to do that, because it's on our behalf, so.
And do you want a prioritization?
I wanna know if, the thing that I'm gonna say is in your top 3, please raise your hand.
Okay, then
Okay,
Can you read through the list before we do that?
Okay, the list is a flashing yield sign. A 4-way stop at the intersection. Humps before the intersection. Installation of bollards leading up to the intersection.
okay, so Emily, I'm not gonna vote because I'm not officially a member
Thank
yet.
you for being a secretary.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so flashing yield sign,
1, 2, 3,
and Toby,
Toby.
so that's
and
5.
Anthony.
And 6.
Okay.
6 votes for flashing yield.
always stop.
I think Toby.
Toby,
Toby,
speed humps before the crossing.
So wait a minute, we can vote multiple times, and I just want to throw in for the stop too.
Oh, okay, so two for
So
the
it would be
stop.
two,
Yeah.
me and Toby, even though it's there's probably a sword for it.
Okay, so you're getting 3 votes total. All
You're
right.
getting 3 total.
All right.
Speed humps.
1, 2, 3. I can't see what's happening on the screen.
2, 3. Toby, do you still have your hand up, or are you just? Yeah, okay.
Wait, so that's just 3?
4.
4. Okay.
Leading bollards.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Toby's your hand up for bollards?
Yeah,
Used
wait,
up your
I
votes.
think.
Yeah.
Okay, you wanna
wait.
change?
I'll take
change
my
that?
vote away from, I guess the all-way stop sign, since it doesn't seem like
The
that would
4-way
get-
stop?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think that would get
Alright.
approved.
Okay, so thank you. I really appreciate everybody writing this memo. It was hard to dig through the suggestions and stuff like that. And thank you, Bettina, for championing this and bringing this to us again. I know it's not easy to come back and be told that nothing can be done a lot of times. But we really appreciate you bringing it up.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
I appreciate the time you guys have spent thinking about it.
Group effort.
Definitely.
Okay.
Appreciate your advocacy.
And I'm going to add to my list of things to do to generate an image similar to this one below, but using, more hard material. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
As
long as you're exercising your photo doctoring skills, maybe you could paint the bike path green too.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. And now I'm going to move on to Harvard Street. I sent you guys. So I had put this on I want to just give you a background so that you understand that I didn't just like suddenly send you 25 pages of information really last minute, although I did. I put this on the agenda just because I wanted us to get on paper suggestions. Oh, Brian is saying he cannot chat. I'm sorry, I don't know why you can't chat. Maybe I don't have the chat open.
Is Brian on?
Oh, Brian would like to add to the chat. The town has a CIP budget for $150,000 for bike access improvements. A flashing beacon costs about $20,000. So people could keep that in mind in terms of where we're gonna ask for things like this. If we ask for a flashing beacon here, it means a flashing beacon is not gonna go in somewhere else. So, food for thought. I'm not sure that's the same cost for just a flashing sign, because I think those are less than the ones that you have to activate and they talk and stuff like that, right? Okay, so back to Harvard Street. I put that on the agenda just because I hadn't heard anything about it and I saw it was on the pavement improvement plan for this year, and I thought we should get something on paper, even if it's too late this time, at least we will have comments for next time. And so I put that on the agenda, and then like yesterday morning, Sam Downs sent me plans for the pavement markings on Harvard Street. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is a lot of information, so I sent it all to you. But I also marked up the plans with what my commentary would be about them. Jan has also made her observations. I'm not really sure how to proceed with this agenda item because I also drafted a memo about the plans. I'm not really sure how to proceed with this agenda item because it's just a gargantuan amount of information. And I don't see how we can possibly get through it even in an hour. And so, I have a couple suggestions. One of them is that we can look at the plans and look at the things that I've marked up and try and go through them and see whether or not they make sense to us. I think that's not really a possibility. We could emit a more general memo about what our goals are. And people could include individually things to be transmitted to the transportation board or the transportation division. So like I could send my comments to them individually and you guys could send your comments to them individually and we could just have a memo together that's talks about our basic goals. So how do people feel about those options? How many people got a chance to really sit with the plans for a while and digest them?
Well, I'm not a member, but I did spend a number of hours today.
I had a chance to go through them, but my question is, when is the transportation board like moving to approve this? Like, when do we need our comments in by?
They are not.
Okay.
So the way that the transportation board now, since early this year, reviews plans like this, is that they have decided that anything that falls into the category of pavement preservation will not, from what I understand, be directly reviewed by the transportation board. They will simply be restriped in a similar fashion with some small improvements that are kind of within staff discretion, but within certain undefined bounds from my point of view. And then they're sent out to bid. They don't actually go before the transportation board. So these plans are already out to bid. I asked Sam whether or not that precluded us making any comments or changes in the plans. And he said he wouldn't say no, but I think it goes unsaid that they would be small, whatever they are. So that's basically the lay of the land.
So anything that we're gonna suggest or would like to see is gonna go to the transportation, is gonna go to Sam or somebody on the transportation department, not to the board.
I think, I mean, that's really up to us. We can write a memo to the transportation division and the transportation board. Or I don't think it's really appropriate that you write a memo just to Sam. If you want to send individual comments just to him, then that's something, but as a board, we should probably we should always be communicating with the board as well.
Yep. Makes sense.
So I'm gonna read you my memo regarding the plans. And then I'm going to send you all a copy of the plans that I marked up and include that in the meeting materials. Oops, I don't want to close that. Memo. There's a lot of memos. Okay, I'm gonna try and share this whole screen so that I can put the markings up there. Those are the marked up ones. And Zoom. People need me to. Share the whole screen to screen 2. Okay. So this is just amusing, ignore this. So we've reviewed the striping plans from Harvard Street and made additional on-site observations, which we summarize below. Harvard Street is among the most crash-prone streets in our town. It has a very high incidence of dooring or conflict arising from navigating around double-parked vehicles. Large stretches of the pavement marking plan do not address this issue, even though there is sufficient width and it could be done at no additional cost. We are concerned with the new transportation project prioritization engagement process adopted by the Transportation Board. That's the new process that I outlined. That means that nobody will see the plans. That Harvard Street would necessarily fall into a tier 1 project. That is a project that would require a long public process over many years, significant state funds, design review committees, and that given past examples of these projects, which are like Washington Street, not built yet, the Beacon Street Vital Path, not built yet. That's, I think it would be a tier 2, but preclude meaningful progress, that this would preclude meaningful progress on bicycle comfort and safety. Even when some of those small interventions would have little or no impact to other road users. Given the scarcity of funding and staff resources to manage these projects, we ask you to reflect on how the Transportation Board plans to meet Vision Zero and Complete Streets objectives, given that this street, which generates a disproportionate amount of pedestrian and cyclist crashes, appears to be excluded from planning for safety-related changes. Many widths along Harvard Street are sufficient to allow parking protected lanes along at least one side of the street, which has been successful at other locations in Brookline in reducing dooring and making biking less stressful. We applaud the addition of more bollards between travel lanes and cyclists, which there are a couple here. However, we feel that this could be extended to other locations and prevent more double parking as it has been done in front of the Booksmith. You're reading how I write at 3 a.m.
It's good, it's good,
The
Emily.
Bicycle Advisory Committee would like the opportunity to review and comment on pavement markings, even if our comments are deemed non-actionable, because it allows us to give specific feedback on roads and to include this feedback in the Green Routes Plan and update this plan such that it may be incorporated into future designs. So that was my reflections after seeing the plans and understanding what the new process was. I don't know how you feel about that, how you feel about the plans. Whether you have specific things to add. I don't really want in a memo to get into like specific points along the road or anything like that, because I think it's just so detailed that it would be impossible. Bob?
So one suggestion, the bullet point where it talks about the parking protected bike lanes. Yes, that one. I would add in there that it also has the benefit of keeping delivery drivers, ride share and delivery trucks from parking in the bike lane. When you have a parking protected lane, you don't have trucks and cars parking in the bike lane.
Toby.
Yeah, while we're on the topic of parking, I think it's worth explicitly pointing out that in these designs, which I was just looking over, that there's not a single instance that has parking and a protected bike lane. And it seems to me that this is completely, this blind loyalty to parking is flies completely in the face of all the designs for Washington Street and Beacon Street. but even more importantly, there's like there were all these studies about parking specifically for Coolidge Corner. So I don't think it would be crazy to point out there that the Coolidge Corner demand for parking is really not what it seems.
Yeah. I understand that the staff have been given a sort of mandate to create a plan that has no parking removal as part of the plan. I mean, I understand that from reading the meeting notes from the Transportation Board meeting in January. It's not that they were directed to do that on this specific plan. It's just that the kind of the mandate of the pavement preservation plans is that they create a plan that has little to no changes.
Is that a Transportation Board policy or something
that's
else?
a Transportation Board policy. So I can bring up the Transportation Board policy that that I'm referring to. I'm going to point out also that like this sounds, the way I'm saying it at the moment, this sounds really bad. But I'm also going to point out that there's a counterpoint to this, which is that for a long time, the transportation department has been sort of mired in not being able to get anything at all done. And this current plan does contain things that would be better for us, and it would get done quickly. It does not contain everything we would like it to. And so they're kind of
baby step.
It's baby step. Yeah, it's a baby step. I think, in my opinion, it could be more steps without much intervention, but I think it is real, the fact that they are unable to get things done and that they need some way to get things done. And so I don't think this is coming from a cynical place. I'm also not saying that I agree with it.
We have lovely
I think
pictures.
one of the things that I see, and I will admit, did not have a chance to go deeply into plans between yesterday and this meeting. So I do want the opportunity to. But on first glance, I think the number one, and Emily, you gave us an action item to look at Harvard Street in general and in our daily life. I think the number one thing that I don't see addressed is like where the bus lanes are relative to the bicycles. And in some instances, the bus lanes are in the inside of the bicycle, which means that they have to cross over from a bicycle
See
lane.
that again and again.
And it's not consistent, like there isn't a consistent bus lane. I know that may complicate things because now that involves MBTA. But that is the number one thing that scares me when I bike on Harvard.
Buses.
The buses. Cause they're big and they stop a lot. Like bus 66 stops frequently on that route. And if they have to go cross over the bike lane to get to their stop at different points in the road, that like having a bike lane does not address bicycle safety in that instance.
Yeah. The transportation the transportation board has total authority over stops and bus markings in Brookline.
I see.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This project falls under project 4, minor maintenance oriented work. So that would be engagement level, low public notice, timeline, according to the project, with the decision-making authority falls with staff, and they give updates to the board about it. And so examples of these for maintenance oriented Sumner Road, Crescent Road, Arlington Lowell Road. These are all roads that they've done, and then they're also doing pavement preservation on a couple other roads. We saw a list of roads that are coming up next year. That includes Brookline Avenue, Longwood Avenue. I think the point is that the roads are supposed to receive maintenance and they're supposed to receive minor upgrades to facilities, but they're not in the category of changes, right? So yeah, I'm not sure how to I'm not sure how I feel about the policy yet. I'm not sure how to make feedback to the transportation board and the transportation division about the policy. I think in a way, I think I would like to kind of remove this paragraph from what I'm saying. Not say anything about the policy and just concentrate on what our goals are on Harvard Street. You know, that we would like safe separated bicycle facilities, that this doesn't address it. And list the problems again, instead of trying to kind of diss a policy that we haven't wrapped our minds around much yet. How do other people feel about that?
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
People online? Yeah, I'm seeing nodding heads.
I agree.
So let's ditch this. Maybe just shorten to the point is better than anything else.
The stronger argument also, when you ask for fewer things, I'm just asking for
Yeah.
a couple of things.
And promoting all the paragraphs though, instead of bullets, and it's kind of semantic, but it'll just stand out better.
Okay.
I think.
Do people want to? Do people want to walk through the plans? Was there something like really important that jumped out to people in the plans that they want to talk about? This is a selfish request because I have.
I'd love it if we have the time to review the plans as a group, that'd be great, because I didn't have the time to review it on my own before this meeting, but that would also be selfish.
Well, can I talk a little bit about Lawton, which I want to rename Lawton Street, which is near TJ Maxx and up there.
That's on sheet 2 and the sheet 1 or something.
It's actually slide 2. So see Lawton over there. I just want to say that there may be no solution except for that Lawton is a cut through to Comm Ave. And I've been almost hit both as a pedestrian and a cyclist coming south to north. Also, you see where those trees are? Herb Chambers Toyota has a giant Comm Ave facing thing and then a giant parking lot with an access road off Lawton. And so part of the problem, and then we've got the trucks coming in for TJ Maxx. And so it's just dangerous because the cars just whip into Lawton and they whip out of Lawton and they do not yield to pedestrians and bicycles hardly ever. And I think it's really not neighborhood traffic, but those people, you know, instead of wanting to go down here and take a ride on Comm Ave, they just whip through there. And then it's then I think the lot is like employees of Toyota. So I don't know if there's any way to make that safer. Narrowing the road a little bit more, but I just wanted to mention that this is a real problem.
Okay, so I'll just let you know the way that I structured comments in this document. In the document, I called out 3 comments that I highlighted as being priority things. And then afterwards, I structured comments by using in orange things that fall within what I understand as their pavement preservation mandate. Which is to say they require like no actual changes to the public way, but they would nevertheless be improvements. And that they're minor, but could be a lot better. So like an example of that is painting a bus stop red instead of just putting a small sign in it. Then the ones in blue are ones where I still feel it falls within their pavement preservation mandate. However, it's a kind of a larger change in that it changes somewhat the geometry. It's still completely paint-based. It still has completely normal widths of lanes. It has no change of use, but the geometry changes slightly. And then in yellow, I put comments for things that I think are beyond the scope of what they could possibly do. And I simply wanted to have them on paper when I was reviewing it. And so I would put this
yellow.
problem in the scope of things beyond which they could possibly address, but which we have observed.
Laughing at the, next to the giant empty parking lot.
I know, a little bit of levity, but so I'm gonna say
And I don't know what the solution is, I just know it's a
significant high-speed cut-through traffic on Lawton.
I wonder if. Makes sense, obviously it's outside the scope of this, but why do they have to have the exit from the parking lot onto Lawton Street? There's not that many cars using that parking lot, the other entrance and exit has a traffic signal. Like, just don't let people go out onto Lawton. Really?
That doesn't totally stop the problem, because it's a cut through to Con Ave, Lawton is.
Right.
It would.
Lot,
Well,
okay,
I thought part of the problem on Lawton was that cars are coming out of that.
that is part of the problem.
Okay, so that's all I'm
Oh,
suggesting.
I see, okay, yes, got it,
I'm
yeah.
saying that's one thing that like,
Yeah. Yeah.
put a chain across there and say, do not, no exit or something, right? Just saying there's a cheap way to get TJ Maxx maybe or the bank, I don't know what's there now in that other building,
Yeah.
but.
So I'm going to go to the intersection at Beacon
Okay.
and Palm Avenue, because we've already talked about this today. Sorry, Beacon and Harvard, because we've already talked about this day and we've talked about it incessantly since I've been on the bicycle advisory committee. And I just feel that if
What slide number is that?
this computer is just a little bit pokey for a big document like
AI
this.
there.
Not this one.
Green, one more.
Oh, 8.
There you go. All rendering some.
So I marked this as one of 3 things that I see as a priority. And that would be to provide precast concrete curbs with flex posts mounted on the top in areas likely to experience significant damage to the flex posts. And so you can see that they've added a very small bollard protected lane in this area. I think those will bite the dust within a couple of hours. And then they've also reinstalled bollards along here. And
How do the bikes get to that? Oh,
get
it's
to what?
the one coming southbound to Beacon.
I don't know, they kind of jab in here. I don't know what the plan is.
What are the hash marks preceding the bike lane there?
That is a proposed loading zone.
Sorry, where's the loading zone?
So there'd be a truck.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a
There's a
proposed
truck
loading
there.
zone.
Yeah.
You take a very
Good
turn
lord.
sharp right out of the lane on the stripe.
Is there a
Turn-
loading zone there now? It's just a bus stop, right?
Taxi.
It's It's
But it,
taxi
taxi.
stand, they actually removed the
They
taxi,
did.
taxi stand, so it's a something now. I don't know what it is.
No, well, the taxi stand is still there, I mean, today, right now, the taxi stand is there, they just removed it on the.
So that's one of the things that I thought that I wanted them to highlight as a priority. The next one I maybe keep to myself. This is not. No, I'm just gonna say it's not actually bicycle related, but it's a dangerous intersection for pedestrians, it's very wide at Marion
Oh,
Street.
yes, yes.
It could be much narrower because it's a one-way street and they can do this. They can easily do this within their plans without actually changing anything. They can make a bump out.
It's gonna be a painted bump out?
That's what, yeah, because they're said they're
That's all
not
they're
moving
doing.
curbs. And then the other one that I highlighted, which is I think our priority really here, is that in this stretch, it's really clear to me that there is space for a parking protected bike lane along, east-west is really difficult in this document, along the west side of Harvard Street. You know, here it says on Chestnut Hill Avenues, they said that they had to have 6+2. And here they've got buffer on the west side, buffer on the south side, and lane buffer. And so they could easily put a parking protected bike lane along here without like they have at St. Mary's.
Yeah,
And that would be the other, like, on Harbor Street, that's the thing that we constantly hear complaints about, people parked in the bike lane, people
mhm,
always there, you know?
yeah.
That's a must in my mind. I mean, this really does zero for the bicyclists, because we all know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
we all know the cars are gonna be straddling into the bike lane.
Mhm.
They're trying to accommodate that people wanna get out of their cars right onto the curb, that they don't wanna cross the bike lane. Like, why wouldn't they have just done this? It's such well-established practice now.
I don't, maybe nobody suggested it, maybe they were in a hurry.
Is there something that needs to be accommodated for accessibility, people with accessibility issues or disabilities?
Well, I mean, parking protected bike lanes are all over the place, not in
That's true,
Brookline,
yeah.
but they're all
You're
over the
right.
place, so.
I don't think there's an issue with accessible spots. Like, they have them on St. Mary's, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
I think they're just afraid of the people who are gonna whine about getting run over by the cyclists when they get out of their car.
I'm sure they are.
So a lot of discussion, a ton of discussion on that. But one minor thing that on that map, the protected lane, like going towards Green Street. Is there, like, one thing I might suggest is one additional bollard at the corner? Because I frequently see cars basically basically block the exits.
Where
Where are you
are
talking about?
Where Green
Where
Street,
green, which side?
Yeah, which side?
well, coming from the protected side. On the right side of the intersection, basically at the corner. I frequently see cars blocking over there to pick up from Mecca or wherever. And basically blocking the exit to the bike lane right there.
Here,
Ah,
Yeah,
Oh, on that side.
yeah.
well,
The noodle bar.
So there, but there are bollards there, aren't there?
I don't, they basically, because there's a slight section where they feel like, oh, this is kind of a curb area. They immediately park over there right after the last bollard, or if the bollard is missing. They park in that spot because they feel like, oh, it's before the turn, I'm not blocking the streets. And I've had to be in the protected lane and have to figure out how to exit it. Because I don't, like, the natural exit is gone.
I think the thing is that there's a right-hand turn onto Green,
Yeah.
so you can only extend the bollards so far, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I would like one more at the same like distribution, just so they, like, is all I would be saying. Like, still maintain that, okay, there's another turn, but
So I'm gonna say extend bollards
Yeah.
as far as
so
possible.
like no one can feel like they can park at that spot that where that bollard is right now.
John, you have your hand up, please, go ahead.
Your idea of a parking protected lane heading toward Coolidge Corner on this stretch seems good, but I wonder, would there be challenges in merging back into traffic at the bump out there right at Green Street?
I think people would have to slow down, but I actually don't see that as, I actually see that as a good thing, because there are a lot of pedestrians that cross there, and there are a lot of bikes that blow through the pedestrian without stopping. So if bicycles had to make a sort of turn in order to get back into traffic, I think it would, more people would slow down to actually yield. That would be my argument.
Wouldn't the bicyclist be hidden from moving traffic's view by the parked cars?
Maybe, but there is this spot here that's supposed to be daylit, right?
Yeah.
Like isn't this a no parking zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, this no parking zone daylights the crosswalk, so I think this would be daylighting also for bicycles merging back.
Okay, well, it's hard for me to visualize it, but I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I think there are some good examples of that on Tremont Street in Boston. The bike lanes on there, they do a lot of that kind of weaving for the bump outs for crosswalks. So they definitely do it around the area.
How is that to bike? I found it really comfortable to bike there.
Yeah, it's nice, and I mean, yeah, you slow down a little bit, but then also like everyone's just more visible in those crossing situations.
I see, yeah.
So that striped area is marked here as loading zone.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it says proposed parking prohibition area loading zone. So I don't know what the heck that means. but-
Where is that?
Where do you see that little?
Well, I see it right here.
Oh, no, that's
Are you
at
green?
Beacon Street. That's.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm in the wrong place. Sorry.
But it isn't marked the same.
Greg Jan said that you had corresponded with her a lot today about this, and I'm just wondering if you have comments that you'd like to share with us.
No, I'd reached out to Jen because I was just curious when I opened it up and I did see that there was no protected anything. I think I was just confused, and you, Emily, provided all the context I needed in terms of like where this is at from a process standpoint. I think the comments you've added here are super helpful. I agree with your approach of like trying to get this to them, but also giving the feedback around for the future use or for kind of future involvement for these types of things. It'd be helpful to have a little more input, particularly on such a main road, but I don't have anything else specific.
Todd?
Hi, on the extreme left-hand side of this page is the exit. Currently, it's an exit from the Center Street parking lot onto Harvard. And it's not quite visible here. You can just see the very, edge of it, or the little bit of it there. But
It's on the next page, yeah. I'm just opening it.
yeah, it's just, I feel like we should either stop traffic there or at least make it a right turn only. The problem is it's a little bit of a blind entry onto Harvard. So it's very hard to see cyclists, and because there would be parked cars there. I mean, hopefully we can convince them to make this a parking protected. That would help a little bit. But I don't know who owns that little alleyway, if that's the town, and if they have the authority to prevent traffic through that alleyway. But certainly the worst thing is when drivers attempt to make a left turn from that.
It's also a problem, people making a right that want to take a left onto Babcock. I mean,
Right.
it's just a nasty exit
Yeah, it's terrible.
for lots of reasons.
Yeah. And there are almost always cars parked waiting for the light, and so there's just I mean, at least that means it's low speed, but it just adds to some chaos, and there are visibility problems.
And there is an alternative. I mean, cars can go back out on the center and then come out, take a right. I mean, take a right and then a right on Shaler, and then And
Correct.
on the occasions that I'm in that lot and wanna go onto Babcock Street, that's what I do, because coming out that alley and trying to take a right and a quick left. You're gonna often you end up blocking traffic and not
Right.
being able to get out and.
I don't know if that's being addressed as part of, I know they're doing a redevelopment project on that lot. I don't know if that's addressed in that plan. What they're thinking about.
Yeah,
potentially
it
doing
is
something
way
about
out there.
But
And that brings up there's the other exit by Green Street.
Yeah.
There's the other
Yeah.
secret exit that makes its own mess.
Yeah.
So,
One of them was saying like they would maybe close off one of those, close off one of them. I feel like I heard that somewhere, but.
Close up one of the alleys and
Yeah.
like that, yeah, that's what I thought, was, yeah, for cars, but you can still
Yeah.
walk it.
Cause yeah, they're just blind turns. It's like, there's no daylighting there at all.
You,
It'd be on, it's literally a truck on the sidewalk over there.
does anybody have any specific points more on this, or shall I just go back to the beginning and we can just walk up the street? Is that good for people?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I'm going to go to this beginning. Okay, so I should give a bit of context. Because I'm a really big busybody, I've been in touch with the transportation staff in Boston over the last few years because they repainted this part of Harvard Street and they like made the travel lanes like, I don't know, like 16 feet wide. I'm exaggerating, but they were like super wide and they smushed the bike lane beside the parking lane and
Oh,
made
yeah.
it super narrow. And it was like, before it was bad and they made it even worse. So I reached out to them and said like, what the heck? And they actually said that they would restripe it with buffers.
Oh.
So basically they,
Sir,
Right.
go Emily.
but
Emily.
they said that 3 years ago.
And that person doesn't work there anymore.
I reached out to the guy every year and the guy every year has said, it hasn't been done yet. I promise it'll be done next year. So I now have a Google alarm to remind the guy. But in any case, so this is the treatment that they are going to have on Harvard Street. From a town line down to Comm Ave. They're gonna have like buffers next to a bike lane, which is at least better than it is now. And so I put one of these orange comments basically saying there's like no reason in the world you shouldn't do this. There's no change in use. Reduce the wide travel lane and put buffers, just like Boston is going to do.
Well, why don't you have the guy commit to not doing protected bike lanes?
Oh, I mean, I would, if I had gone back 3 years, I might have done that, but I was just thinking, maybe they could just bring out the crews again and just like do something, you know?
It's not
Uh,
a serious request.
So Lawton is passed here, so that was the next slide.
So I just have a technical question. So over here on the far left, which we saw on the slide before, the bump out just makes the road so narrow, I actually worry for bicycles trying to get through there.
Oh yeah, I hate that place.
But you're saying that's not paint related?
It's not paint.
Martindale, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I'm actually referring to this right here. I just think this is nerve wracking to
This
have the
week-
road be so narrow. I know it helps pedestrians, but
I don't know how you could. Like, I'm trying to, I don't know what the right treatment would be in order to, I think it's best just to say like, the bump outs are so significant that it makes it scary to bike through here.
Yeah, there and then over there, there is like less bad, but then that, where there's two bump outs, man. It's just gonna be so easy to get hit by a car mirror. Which happened to me once.
But that bump out at Verndale is not necessarily further out than the other side of the intersection. It kind of follows the contour, doesn't it?
This
But it
one,
would be safer if you could get into a bike lane, especially if they end up making this protected bike lane by cutting that. Is that what you're saying?
The TJ Maxx
I'm-
ones, I think what that's being referred to.
Oh, on the opposite side?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Where
I
there's
hate
two,
that
one
one.
on, it's like on either side, both
Yeah,
sides
yeah.
have them, and so then it's so narrow.
That's
It's just gonna
bad.
yeah. What else, what side is this?
just gonna have to put up with the sound of my boss texting me late in the evening. Yeah. Okay, so in blue was my proposition here of something that was, I thought doable with only paint and wouldn't actually require any real changes to the distribution of like, everybody would still have a car lane, everybody would still have a bike lane, everybody would still have parking. That was provide parking protected lane on the east side, so this is the east side. And an unprotected bike lane on the west side. That was under the thought that it would be better to have a parking protected lane on at least one side instead of buffers on both sides. People may feel differently about that.
I really like it.
I mean, I think this is obviously just the best and most obvious option, because like nobody parks here. Like I bike through there every day, and it's always, there's like two cars parked.
I see cars
It's
there.
also-
I'm just picking up from Shop and Job.
Yeah. On this side, on this side,
Sometimes on the opposite side.
on the opposite side, yeah.
But yeah, just like because of quick loading.
I mean, they do have a parking lot though, right?
One thing to keep in mind is that the west side is uphill,
Mm-hmm.
so bikes.
Yeah,
are
so
gonna
it's
be going
better
a
to
lot
have it
slower.
on the downhill side where you'd be going faster. So the northbound side.
The way I did the comments here is that I noticed that the side that I was suggesting in most places was for a reason, and that reason is Florida Ridley School.
Oh, yeah.
And I at that point, that very slow point, at that point I suggested that here I'm saying you can't do this within the purview of what you're doing now, but this is a school zone and you should provide a protected bike lane and sacrifice 4 parking spots. And I think, I mean, it's also really stands out here that the road is very wide. You could actually put a protected bike lane along both sides. I think if you get rid of some of these things here, and if you use bus mixing zones instead of bus stops where the bus actually goes in, where the bike and the bus actually have the same kind of right of way. I know they do this a lot on Massachusetts Avenue. Have other people biked on Mass Avenue? Do they have feelings about this kind of thing? I don't love it, but
I biked down Huntington. On the shared ones, they have those on Huntington.
Yeah, this is not a continuous shared one.
Oh,
The
I
one
see.
on Huntington, my husband takes to work and I always say, just tell me you're taking Riverway instead. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just terrifying to hear that you're biking that way.
Well, it is terrifying.
But, the one that I'm talking about here is. May have to zoom in a bit more. Yep, you have to zoom in a bit more because I'm never gonna get the right spot. Massachusetts Avenue at. Oh, this is too far. Blanche. It's this location here, and you can actually, it's interesting because Cambridge actually changes the way they mark it on Google Maps when you advance on it. So it's on the far side of the street. This is how they originally painted it. It's like a share row. So they don't actually carve out a different bus stop. They have a bus going through and then the bike lane continues. And then, a little bit later, they repaint it. Oh, it's like, it's really weird how Google Maps works. Sometimes depending on where you place yourself, you get a different point in time. I have to go back. Where was Blanche? Blanche. This is farther out.
Right in front of my TV.
Yeah, it's. Oh, there's another one of those. This is another one of those bus bike mixing zones.
Got it.
So they just paint the whole thing red and put the bike arrow through and then continue the bike. It doesn't really eliminate the problem that you talked about where the bus comes into the curb. Like, I think there are other ways of treating it that I've seen where you put the bus stop like a floating island bus stop.
Yeah,
But
I think this is better though.
oh yeah,
The advantage is that the bike will be in where the bus path, so the bus isn't gonna come across the bike.
Yeah.
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 Also, by the way, the removing parking spaces in front of Ridley.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's
Why?
not in front of Ridley.
Oh, it's not?
It's at the corner here, and that's only because you can only provide a protected bike lane the whole way along this side. If you remove these parking spaces, because of this left turn lane here.
Yeah.
And I go through there all the time, and I think it would create chaos if you remove the left turn lane, so I
Yeah.
just didn't.
Well, what I was gonna suggest is the parking demand where you've highlighted, I mean, yes, there's the health club, but there's also there's a number of really popular restaurants, there's Gin's and there's Optics. And I'm thinking at night, why not let people park in the Ridley drop-off loop? Cause I know at Hayes, the community parks in the school parking lot at night, and they have to be out by whatever, they park there overnight, actually, but, I mean, you could just make it that, Anyway, I'm saying if there's problems with taking away spots, you could add more than 4 if you let people park in that drop-off loop.
Well, and you also have the public lot, the Bat Clock. There's
Yeah.
a public lot that's really close to HealthWorks.
Yeah, but
You go
that's,
a little bit.
and there's also the center space.
Those already
Right.
exist, he's trying to get to no loss.
Yeah, I'm saying you can make the argument that, look, we'll give you 12 spaces, but when you're taking away 4.
Yeah.
And plus, people pull up in front of the restaurant and there's no parking and then they are like pissed off. So this is like, they can just go 5 feet more or
Yeah.
20 feet more, and then there's parking right there. They wouldn't have to drive around and get to the other lots and all that. Anyway, just a thought.
I mean, unfortunately, at least in my experience, a lot of most of the people that are going to those places are the Uber Eats drivers, and they're gonna find it way too inconvenient to walk 10 feet.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're gonna place their car wherever, put their hazard lights on. If there's a place that the car can go that is not gonna completely block the actual driving lane.
Yep, that's true.
So that was to answer John's question about why I had indicated parking protected bike lane on the east side of the road there. It's because when I stepped along the roadway, I thought that if you were willing to sacrifice a few parking spots and a few turn lanes along Harvard Street, this is falling into the yellow category of things they couldn't do as a part of this project. You could provide a parking protected bike lane virtually from Beacon Street all the way to the town line, at least along one side. And I thought if you're gonna do that, it should be more or less continuous parking protected, and it would be better to suggest it on the side of the school. So that's the answer to John's question about why I didn't indicate it on the uphill side. I'll go back to where we were before. This is another one where I just think it's just kind of strange. Why didn't they try and provide at least one parking protected bike lane?
I think in the interest of time, you should just walk us through what you've done, then, so there's a lot of comments at this point,
Okay.
maybe we could give summary thoughts at the end or something, since.
I guess my question would be the three priorities that I called out.
Yeah.
Do those seem like reasonable priorities? Do you agree with them? Would you like to highlight them in a memo, or do you want to keep the memo still just really high level? Huh?
Show the memo again.
Yeah.
The idea of just doing some parking protected portion, like, right, let's not let the enemy be the perfect or the good, the perfect be the enemy of the good, right?
Yeah.
And like John was saying, you're gonna have some bad transitions if you put in some parking protected lanes and go back to some traditional lanes. But let's get started. Put that paragraph in bold and put stars around it.
Like, I guess we could say, for example, and then give that priority a section.
Yeah, and right, and we'll take one block. We'd like to have the whole thing. Do some, I mean, yes, it is doing something, but it's doing a lot less than what we hope for in this day and age. No.
In general, so going back to last month's meeting, there were when they were when we were shown all the accidents. This section, weirdly enough, didn't seem very accident prone. But the section between Coach Corner and Brookline Village seemed to be where most of them were concentrated.
I think that was from that month, but if
I
so,
thought that was for the whole year, because we had the whole year review.
I'll bring up the year review. I'm in accident prone, I'm referring to the Vision Zero plan.
Yeah.
Because if you look at, I'm referring to the whole Harvard Street where the bike crashes.
I think crashes, sorry. But I mean, I absolutely do agree with protected lanes. I just remember looking at that and seeing way more on that side.
So
Yeah.
this is Route 9.
Mm.
And this is Aspinwall,
Mhm.
and then this is Beacon, and
Yeah.
then this is Cloters Corner, yeah,
Right, but the area between
Beacon, Longwood.
Beacon, Longwood,
Mhm.
yeah.
So a
That's really
nightmare.
bad.
right.
Yeah, it's awful.
There's also, I mean, but if you, I guess, the reason why I didn't suggest it there is because if you look at the intersection,
Yeah.
I just have no suggestions.
Yeah.
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 trucks. Yeah,
Yeah, UPS.
well, that's the thing, that's one thing that we could suggest, right?
Yeah, we can
Bus
fix
stop
that.
on
Dual
Seven.
and Longwood are a nightmare.
But if, let's just look at,
Let's not even start on the five-way intersection.
Oh, wait, Brookline Village, oh my god. They haven't even put any paint on it. When you get to that section, it's just empty because of Washington. Or I should say, any paint on their diagrams.
or insert.
Are you, in this language, are you just saying one block?
I'm just saying that in general, there should be parking protected bike lanes, but I'm giving that as the block that I would say that like, this should be a real priority, this
Okay.
specific block.
Can't we go for 2 blocks?
We can.
That'd be one.
The problem with the rest of the blocks is that, and a lot of times, there's something else that they would need to do that would kind of fundamentally change something, so like. I was trying my best to find things where I could suggest something that would be like just hard to turn down because just, you know.
There's nothing like that at the five-way intersection.
No.
It really isn't.
There is, can you go back to the slide of that Harvard Beacon intersection?
Harvard Beacon, yeah. Any idea what number that is, but I don't have to.
18? This is 4, 5.
I think it is slide 8, because that's where you're talking about precast concrete
Yeah,
curves.
it's a, it's
Yeah.
a,
Yeah, there you go, you got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanna say that Sam also did say that this lane near the Booksmith, the bike lane, is gonna be widened.
Oh.
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, sometimes it'll take because it's too narrow.
That was the win.
I guess if you're thinking of what you wanna put in the memo to prioritize, if there's something, then this would be the priority intersection.
This is-
Like you're saying, on the south side, there's not a lot that you can really do, but I'm not sure what what your hash markings are over on the right.
Oh, our transportation board liaison chimed in and said a couple of things, and one of them was that this intersection is frequently blocked and it should have do not block the intersection paint.
Right. I
a
mean,
good idea.
that's a really, like, anything that could be done at that intersection, for example, might be worth putting in the memo. If there's, like, these are we know you're not gonna change a lot.
Mhm.
If you're gonna look at anything, please look at the intersection of Longwood.
Yeah,
That,
And
like
consider.
with that treatment, like, cause I couldn't figure out like what to tell them to do there, it's just like.
is there something that could be done or that we could suggest? Not at Harvard and Beacon, but, what is it right afterward? Is it Longwood?
Longwood, yeah, that's where
Longwood, the
blue-
turn
that turn right
for
there.
bicyclists turning left onto Longwood.
I know, I see people do that all the time. I don't know.
Oh, you mean they're coming this way and then
I don't know what
turning,
that's.
Going towards Brookline Village
And
and
then, and
there's
then
a
they turn
left turn
Yeah,
lane for cars.
yeah.
Is there anything we could do to make that turn safer for bicyclists? Because we have the bike lane. Is there
Oh,
any
yeah, I
paint
see.
marking?
What
Or is
is
it
the
just?
why are there only two crosswalks? Why isn't there a crosswalk on the?
Cause there isn't.
I mean, I think there is a problem because there's a driveway here. So if you crossed, you would cross
Oh.
like into the middle of the
Oh,
driveway.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no crosswalk there.
Yeah, they did just put a press lighted beacon for the crosswalk going.
Mhm.
Yeah, the pedestrians were very excited about that.
That's what also Sam said, and Michelle, I just read his email to you guys so that I'm not just remembering things from him. I saw your agenda items and wanted to share the pavement marking plans that have been advertised for bidding, which will be awarded another week or two here.
Oh, gosh.
I hope you'll pay attention to the really great safety improvements, primarily for bikes, that our team has been working on. There are also significant pedestrian safety improvements through daylighting and RRFBs at almost every crosswalk across Harvard, which is true. Like you can't find any crosswalks that aren't daylit now, which is really good. You'll see the added flex posts, added buffers to the bike lanes, and widening of the existing protected bike lane in front of the Brookline Booksmith. At this time, these plans are considered final.
Yeah.
John, please go ahead.
I'm wondering about the heading into the intersection in front of, Brookline Bank there, where there's the new green bike lane along the curb in the bike box. I think if it was painted like that, I would be sorely tempted as a bicyclist not to bother with it. I'd be in the share row approaching the intersection. And it would be really going out of my way and getting out of traffic and then having to get back into traffic to go into that green lane.
I think he's talking about.
Are you talking about this, John?
Yeah,
Yeah, I also don't really see the utility of it unless you were to extend this a lot farther down, but.
by the time I get there, I'm jockeying with cars and trucks to have my position on the road at the intersection.
So are you suggesting that maybe I say that I take away this arrow saying that this side would be a priority for a precast curb?
Well, if you don't have the lane, you don't need the precast curb.
Yeah, but this is not my marking. They're doing this.
I know.
So I'm confused though why you wouldn't want that.
I mean, I think it's like you go in here, there's like a bus here, and then just
Yeah.
think of how it is. There's a bus here, then there's a bunch of delivery vehicles parked here. And then you suddenly need to get, you suddenly need to get inside the curb and also make sure that people don't right hook you. It
Yeah,
does seem very weird.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but at least you have, I mean, otherwise, what are you doing? I mean, otherwise you're gonna be in front of a car.
Yeah.
Or behind a car, but have a car in front and behind you. I mean, to me, I'd rather have a way to approach that bike lane as we go across, cause there's definitely a bike lane on the other side if there's not a UPS truck parked in it.
I don't, I slide into the lane. In a circumstance like that, I go with John. The right hook is much more dangerous. That road is like harder to gain speed because of how busy it is. My first chance where I could get into that car lane, that's what I'm doing, and then going over Beacon, and then I'll get into a bike lane. But I'm not going to stay anywhere where there's a right, where there's someone that could do a right turn unless I am, unless the light is green for me and red for them.
I think the
So
problem
you
is just
would-
That's drawn, it makes no sense, because you have to jump across the loading, you know, a buffer zone. Right, there should be more green.
So
Right,
Anthony,
well, that was
you
one of
wouldn't use
the
any of the
suggestions.
green pavement. You would be in the in the car lane going all the way through Beacon.
Probably from that crosswalk that's back on, I can't see what it is. I'm picturing that's near the coffee shop slash Brookline Booksmith.
And then
Yeah.
you just be in the car lane the whole way, crossing Beacon and going forward.
I apologize. I
Yeah,
tried to
yeah,
zoom in.
because there's
Yeah,
buses and
okay.
cars that are there and they're
Yeah.
narrow, the road is narrow. Once I'm there, they don't really have a choice to get around me. It's such a narrow road. Cars
Yeah.
can't get around me.
But the way they've got it indicated, there's nothing that stops you from doing that. I mean, I don't see why, right?
I mean, I can see two arguments. Like one of them is that by doing this, you are indicating to cyclists who may not be as experienced to use a road position that may be more dangerous for them.
Yeah, you're building the road to gear us towards a dangerous thing.
I personally look at it like as a space where if I'm trying to get ahead of cars, I could cut through the green section to get in front.
Yeah.
As basically to establish myself as in front of traffic instead of mixed in.
Yeah, I think that's what the point of this
Of that one.
box that's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I look at the green section up coming up is basically saying this is a bike area, not cars can't kind of like hug the corner to get ready for the turn.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But you're only gonna be able to get into that spot if you're,
Traffic stopped.
If traffic is-
If you're the first one after the light turns red. Because it'll only take a couple cars to block that off so that you can't get into the green lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the right solution is a bike light that's a leading bike light
Yeah.
that lets the bike go, 5 seconds before the cars get a green.
Well, practically speaking, there isn't always a bus there. There's not always gonna be someone in the loading area. Bikes will be able to filter through in that along that, the loading area in the bus, get into that green paint area and get up to the front of the queue.
You're not
Yeah.
worried about right hooks?
Well, John and Anthony
But
are saying they don't.
If you're at the front of the queue, right, once you're at the front, you move into where the bicycle picture is. You become, you should be pretty visible there.
Yeah.
You're in front of the traffic.
I think there's a,
Believe me.
No, I think it's a risk that right turn and left cars are gonna come into the green straight lane, blocking access.
No, it's behind bollards.
yeah, I think, but I think the problem for right hook exists here.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know.
And it's a lot of out of town people. That street is busy enough that it's going to be a lot of cars that come from out of town, right? Uber, Lyft, stuff like that. This isn't like a small residential road where it's going to be the same traffic cars over and over. But like I said, it's been a while since I've been ticketed by Brookline Police, but in areas where I've made the point with a right hook, I'm willing to take a $20 ticket if they catch me doing it, but I'm not doing it when it's a known danger. The risk is lower for me to do something else.
So it sounds to me like in this specific location, there's a variety of opinions about what would be better. Shall we move up the plan? Shall we note that we are concerned that there is danger of right hook here and then move up the plan and talk about
Yes.
other things?
I would like to mention one more thing that relates to this intersection that wouldn't necessarily be markings. Is that, there was a accident here recently where a pedestrian was, where a pedestrian was hit by a car. Why is this an intersection where there's not a four-way red lights for pedestrians to cross, so you're not end up basically trying to cross while cars are trying to turn?
Four-way like this?
In all ways are red, all the pedestrians have the walk.
Like they have it
Because
cool.
Like on comment.
I have traffic for like 3 blocks going down Beacon Street. that's why. I mean, that's the answer. I'm
Yeah,
not
but like,
advocating, I'm
look
just
further
saying.
down that road, like at the Harvard Com Ave, if they have a four-way stop in the cycle for pedestrians to be able to scramble through.
It works on Route 9.
It's true,
Yeah.
and they
And
they even have
Aspinwall
a,
School and Harvard has four-way.
they even have a tram line there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emily, I guess I'm just curious how much longer you think we're gonna go this evening? Do you wanna, are you planning to finish these plans, the review of the plan, or?
No,
would
I
you-
mean,
Yeah.
the meeting.
I also
the
need to
meeting is
go.
Yeah, the meeting is over, so, let's just, if members could stay just for a second longer, so that we just can talk about what the memo to the transportation division is gonna say, like, and we'll finish with that.
Will you be
Yeah,
I would
sending
almost
out
say that
your
corner could be a right
comment?
turn lane.
Oh,
Right.
oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
I mean, I think this is a worthwhile conversation, but they've said that this is a final plan, so I don't know that it's. I think we can certainly continue to document what we would like to see on Harvard.
Yeah, we can come back and continue that, next week. Anthony was saying something, but, oh, did he just go?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. You were
I was saying
that-
it could be a right turn lane, right? Like that part, they could make it so that it's the right only and move like a shared, a share will move the bike, that little 6 feet, move the 6 feet out to the left and make it so that the cars have to creep in and do that right turn, which makes it safer for pedestrians, because then that slows them down too, to get to that corner and do the right.
I'm sorry, my computer's just about to die, so I'm gonna have to remove the screen.
Emily, are you gonna send out a copy of of the drawings with your notes on them?
Yeah, I'm gonna send out a copy of the drawings with my notes on them I'm going to include them in the meeting minutes, and I'll send them out to the back members and friends list.
Okay, thanks.
And you guys can comment on them. I just want to wrap up this memo. I don't think that it's possible to put like everything we talked about in it. And so I'm just gonna read to you again what the memo says. Because unfortunately you can't gather around. People online, just because of the technical difficulty that we just had here, you just need to like interject if you want to be heard, because I can't. I can't see you, okay? So, dear Transportation Board and members, we've reviewed the restriping plans and made additional on-site observations, which we summarize below. Harvard Street is among the most crash-prone streets in our town. It has a very high incidence of dooring or conflict arising from navigating around double-parked vehicles. Large stretches of the pavement marking plan do not address this issue, even though there is sufficient width and it could be done at no additional cost. Many widths along Harvard Street are sufficient to allow a parking protected lane along at least one side of the street, which has been successful at other locations in Brookline in reducing dooring and reducing parking in the bike lane and making biking less stressful. And I'm gonna say, for example, you could do that at this block, the one that we talked about. We applaud the addition of more bollards between travel lanes and cyclists. However, we feel that this could be extended to other locations and prevent more double parking, as it has been done in front of the Booksmith. The Bicycle Advisory Committee would like the opportunity to review and comment on pavement markings, even if our comments are deemed non-actionable, because it allows us to give specific feedback on roads, to include this feedback in the Green Routes Plan and update the Green Routes Plan such that it may be incorporated into future designs. Does anybody feel that there's something that really needs to be added? Are people okay with this memo?
Well, I mean, this is just a thought, but could we put in, could the chair of the committee come and meet with you personally at the transportation department? Like, Emily, you walk over and just talk to them and face to face about some of the things that might work? Cause I don't, is it?
I mean, I can just do that. You guys don't need to specifically authorize me to do that. Like, I can do that as an individual.
So that wouldn't need to go into the memo.
That doesn't need to go into the memo, no.
I think, as you said before, the board reports to the transportation board, right, so the memo has to go to the board, not to.
Oh, yeah, so that would not be appropriate. Good point.
But we have been
Yeah,
in violation of what John has done in the past and what the board has done in the past. We have been writing memos to board and staff recently. Are people online still there?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
but I have to go right this second.
Okay, can you tell me whether or not you're okay with this memo, Toby?
Yes, I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony, are you okay with this memo?
Yes.
Okay. And are there any other members online that I'm missing?
I only see myself in the room.
Okay, all right. Are people in the room okay with this memo?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
I think there was one sentence that's missing a word, but I can look over your shoulder.
Okay, yeah, you.
She's good at that. Just the way you read it.
You can fix the, I did not run this through.
Yeah, no, I know, you
so-
wrote it in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
no, it just, I think you, anyway, it just. Maybe even you miss what you were reading it out loud,
Okay,
it may be really there.
really, thank you, everybody. That was a
Thank you.
very long
After the-
session. It was productive.
Maybe.
Thank you for putting that together. It looked like it doesn't look, it is a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Emily.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of
and on
work.
short notice too.
Yeah,
God, what happened to your workday?
don't, my boss is here on Teams, so
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. Well, you also mentioned that something got done early in the morning.
Yeah,
so-
my word. It wasn't done during my workday, but I certainly wasn't as productive as I could have been.
Yeah, you'll figure it out, you'll figure it out.
Where do you work?
I work at a structural engineering company. Margaret, were you caught up about the women, the Canadian women losing their match?
I was heartbroken. You know, in my household, there were my American-born children rooting for the Americans. I was rooting for the Maple Leafs.
Oh, yeah, it was a tough Olympics.
It was tough. Then the men followed. Many of my friends are quite distraught back home. Yeah. Yes, yes.
I don't know all that
They
helpful,
were-
but just keep.
Yeah.
But obviously Canada was
No, I think.
up to the task.
Yeah, it's frustrating about.
They say that silver
No, but,
medalists are
that's
like
important,
the
right?
toughest. The bronze
But I
medalists
get,
are
I mean,
happy because they're just happy
I
they
hear what
medaled.
everyone's saying,
Of
which
course,
is
gold
that
medalists
once they
are
open it up
happy because they
to,
got
but then you end up with
Yeah.
Chapel Avenue and then nothing
Grand
happens for
Seal,
10
they
years.
were silver
Yeah,
medalists.
right.
So I get it.
Or like
I
the
find
Vital
it, but
Pass.
it's
Like
like,
20 years.
once you start this big public process,
Yeah.
and everybody needs to be heard, and it needs to be heard twice.
Yeah.
Then it just gets done.
I'm not
even gonna be in the
record, as a list.
Stuff at the high school, whatever.
And you know,
That I'm kind of like, if the
every-
transportation board takes on,
Yeah.
The division's like, we're gonna do the best we can.
The
Just
North
gonna do
Way.
it. We're not gonna
Way.
open
Oh,
this
no.
up
Yeah,
for
they like.
3 years of public meeting.
Yeah, and you'll have a lot of turnover
Yeah,
in
well, but
transportation
also
because
the
they're
kids
fed up with
are-
that behavior.
So I understand,
Like.
but
or
it
when
makes it
they're,
frustrating, like, what's the point of holding a meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, why have nice advisory
But-
committee, yeah.
You know, I'm gonna spend 2 hours and
Nobody's a
eight
winner,
people's time,
nobody's a
and Emily
loser, they
spent
don't keep
5
Yeah.
hours today, like,
Nobody's
like-
gonna listen to
Right.
that, yeah.
having fun.
With you, they
It's like,
could solve
go out
it
there
by
and
telling
great
us,
time,
like,
you know, and there's.
if this is pavement
you know,
preservation,
food
they could
and
start by
this
telling
and
us what they
that,
did with
you know, it's
Washington
all
Street,
about
which is
fun
that
Until they're like.
this year we are restriping
12
it,
or
but 3
14,
years from now,
you
we're
know,
doing a full
that-
reconstruction.
It's not a.
And you get to
competitive
participate in that
thing
process,
For
right?
years and years and years.
But Harvard Street, I mean,
Yeah.
that might not, you know,
Well,
they're
they
not
didn't
putting in
touch any of
a
the
request for,
That's.
I know,
I
that's the
really
problem.
complete streets.
That's the problem.
I
yeah.
think that's amazing to see skiers
so.
Yeah.
race
To
it
say,
and then have to still do